Hello my dear friends and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. In today's video we're going to be talking about the Book of Boba Fett, we also have a couple of tidbits for the Ahsoka series and more. So without much further ado and without any more jibber jabber, let's just dive straight into it. So we start with a quick update for the Book of Boba Fett. We have a new promotional image from Disney's website in the Everything New Coming Next Month section. I have a few thoughts on this poster, and even though it does not reveal much, there are a couple of things that really stand out. First of all, the location. This is not Jabba's palace, but rather the location of the Ithorian crime lord that we saw in the trailer. We do not know the importance of this Ithorian just yet, but it does seem like he's going to be playing a prominent role either in helping or opposing Boba in trying to unite the galaxy's criminal underworld. Now, as for the more obvious things in this picture, both Boba Fett and Fennec Shand are looking epic and sharp, all killer no filler and ready for action. But what is particularly interesting is how this picture was shot, or rather cropped. The space left on the left hand side is almost as if they cropped someone out of the frame intentionally. The big question is, did they omit someone important, or did they leave space on the left because this picture is going to be used as the thumbnail where the play button goes on Disney+. Now, as with all posters and stills for this series, absolutely nothing is revealed. Lucasfilm seem to be doing everything they can to keep every last detail of this show a secret. And this poster is no exception. I truly believe that Robert Rodriguez has some massive reveals lined up in this series, and it's going to hit us like a train. And I bet there's going to be something that nobody was ready for, and as I like to say, there may be one or two internet breaking moments. Even the trailer, in my opinion, was a red herring. All of the footage is probably from the first 2 episodes, kind of like what they did for the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer, when in reality, there is so much more lined up for the 8 episodes. I'm very curious to see how the Book of Boba Fett is going to change the landscape of the Mandalorian universe going forward, and also carry on the story of Boba. As I spoke about 2 days ago, Robert Rodriguez told Empire magazine that Boba is going to be in barbarian mode, which is pretty reassuring considering we were all worried that Boba Fett was going to be portrayed as a good guy. But on the other hand, the Disney website in this promotional states that Boba is trying to reinvent himself. So a little bit of mixed messaging, but we'll just have to wait and see what's in store. A very cool poster nonetheless, nothing too revealing, and until the show drops, we can only speculate. Now, I really love that we're going in blind. We don't know anything about what's going to be in the series. We don't even know if any of the rumours were true, and personally, I don't even care if they are. As long as the series is good and gives us plenty to talk about, I'm happy. So now, my dear Megalorians, let's talk about the Ahsoka series, because Dave Filoni in Empire magazine has talked about the thrilling Ahsoka writing process. Over the course of several years, Ahsoka Tano became one of Star Wars' most beloved characters, despite having only really existed in animated form. Through the Clone Wars and Rebels, she grew up as Anakin Skywalker's Jedi Padawan and grew in complexity with every passing season. In the second season of The Mandalorian, Ahsoka finally made the leap into live action, this time played by Rosario Dawson in an episode written and directed by her co-creator, Dave Filoni. Proving a massive hit on that show, it wasn't long before Lucasfilm announced the character's own spin-off series, in a show taking place in the wider Mando storyline. Speaking to Empire magazine, Filoni opened up about progress on the show, which he is currently writing, and then, in his own words, he said, "It's thrilling, I got to tell you. It's something you imagined doing for a long time, and then it's kind of startling when you're sitting there and you now have to do it." As you'd imagine, the show is offering him the chance to tell an Ahsoka story that he's always wanted to tell, with some new additions. I thought of this adventure for Ahsoka for a long time, and it's interesting to see how it's evolved. Years ago, I never would have imagined that it was sprung from a branch of a tree that had nothing to do with a guy like Din Djarin, or a child that looks like Yoda. It's a great lesson for me on how, when you have other creatives like Jon Favreau, they can help lend such dimension and depth to what you're doing. So a little tidbit there, really interesting stuff indeed. And as I've said in the past, the Ahsoka series really is one of the most anticipated of all of the upcoming Star Wars shows. In my news update on Monday, I spoke about it in more depth and how I think it's going to continue the story of Star Wars Rebels, while also including elements of Heir to the Empire and the rest of Zahn's original Thrawn trilogy. And based on what Dave Filoni said here, it sounds like it's going to be a thrilling ride. I simply can't wait, and we can expect Ahsoka to come out in 2023. And so finally, my dear Megalorians, a very interesting opinion piece from CBR. Star Wars series could replace movies, but is that a good thing? My opinion right from the outset, I think it's great. Star Wars has translated amazingly on the small screen, just look at The Mandalorian. But at the same time, the heart and soul of Star Wars right from the start has always been cinematic releases. So my opinion would be a balance, but Star Wars on the small screen on a streaming service like Disney Plus is a real winner. But CBR have other thoughts, so let's see what they have to say. Despite a few upcoming Star Wars movies, it seems like Disney is more focused on bringing Star Wars to Disney Plus. For the first 6 years of Star Wars being owned by Disney, 4 Star Wars movies were released in cinemas and only one TV show, Star Wars Rebels, on Disney XD. But since the success of The Mandalorian, it looks like Lucasfilm is now going all in with the series and taking a step back from the movies. In late 2020, Star Wars was a large part of the Disney Investor Day, where they showed off several upcoming projects spanning over the next several years. An overwhelming 10 Star Wars shows were announced, many of which were meant to arrive by the end of 2022. Only 3 Star Wars movies were revealed, with their details being incredibly vague, and one of them, Rogue Squadron, has already been cancelled. So in CBR's opinion, no matter how good a Star Wars show is, there's something special about a movie. The story usually feels more like a spectacle, and watching a Star Wars movie in the cinema is always a memorable moment. And while it is usually more exciting watching a Star Wars movie with an episode number as part of a saga, many fans enjoyed the 2 spin-off films. Many people praised Rogue One more than Solo, but both films were generally appreciated. But the benefit of having multi-episode shows means that audiences get more Star Wars content overall and more often. The usual total runtime for a season well exceeds that of a single film, and it also allows audiences more time to grow attached to characters. And as proven with The Mandalorian Season 2, Lucasfilm is more than capable of producing movie-like effects and incredible storytelling for a 20 to 40-minute episode. Whichever way the future of Star Wars goes, the best outcome would be to have a good amount of both shows and movies. And I could not agree more. I think the balance is just right. I prefer having more series because, as this article states, we get a longer runtime overall and more consistency and frequency of Star Wars content. But what do you guys think, and what did you think of everything I spoke about in today's video? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But otherwise, my dear friends, that brings us to the end of this news update. If you guys enjoyed it, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new, and a massive welcome if you are. And also, if you're feeling generous, then why not consider becoming a patron? The link is down there in the description, and on Patreon you get access to my Discord server, exclusive access to videos that are not found here on YouTube. But with that said guys, may the force be with you always. I'm Star Wars Meg, and I'll see you tomorrow.